Hello again, football fans. Welcome to Friday Night Varsity Preview. We are on to the Eastern Finals. Only 3 teams left. Plenty of football goodness coming up. We're going to cover all 3 games, so let's get started. In 1A, small 1A, Wallace Rose Hill stays at home. The 4 seed at 12-2. They'll be facing number 7, North Edgecombe, 9-4. A game I see the Bulldogs winning.
This is Wallace Rose Hill's game to lose.
Yes.
North Edgecombe is a nice story. They after week 3 of the season, they had lost 15 in a row. They had lost their last game of 07, every game in 08, their first 3 games of 09, and then stormed back through the Tarboro Note Conference, finished second in that league. Last week, played at Jones County. 21-play drive to end the game last week for North Edgecombe. 21 plays. Took the last 8 minutes off the clock to beat Jones in a tie game. Great win for them. I know they're stoked to be there, but Wallace has been dominant against everybody, and they'll take anybody that you're going to put out there right now, and I just don't see them losing this game. I don't know how.
Oh, yeah, and I know we both said when the brackets came out, this is set up for Wallace to go to the state championship against Mount Airy. We are a game away from that happening. Bulldogs just, especially in the playoffs, have been rolling over opponents, only giving up 4 points a game in the playoffs. A little more than a field goal. That's pretty impressive. They've had 8 games this year, 10 or fewer points given up. That defense has been good. Obviously, the offense, we've talked about the running backs all year long. Just heard from Coach Cal Parker this week that the 3 running backs, Omar Carr, Bobby Crawford, and Devontae Herring, are now all over 1,000 yards. So that's definitely a running monster that North Edgecombe is going to have to contain, and I don't see it happening.
They have found it. Whatever that it is, people talk about the it, they have it right now, and they have a lot of it.
And we'll move over now to 2A with a considerably tougher game, one I might have to finally jump off the East Bladen bandwagon. I surely would like to see the Eagles win it, but definitely a tough game. Number 6, Tarboro coming to town. Tarboro 13-1, and definitely probably the hardest game East Bladen's had all year.
Oh, without a doubt. Tarboro is good. Made it to the state championship last year before losing. Anchored by Tacoby Cofield, 6'4", 300 pounds, plays both ways on the line, is going to Duke. They ran over Whiteville last week. East Bladen will have its hands full and probably overflowing in this one.
Yes. Well, I know Chuck talked to Whiteville coach Bob Lewis, and he said we could have played till Sunday and we still wouldn't have scored. Tarboro is that good. The Tarboro is 13-1. It's only lost to Southwest Edgecombe, which is like the second-ranked team in 2A, and lost to defending champion Reedsville, who has the longest winning streak in the state going. Yeah. Defense is the key for the Eagles in this one, and it's been good throughout the year. They've forced 47 turnovers, and they're going to need a couple in this one because Tarboro offense is pretty much unstoppable. Only 3 times have they scored fewer than 30 points in a game. They're averaging 39.2 points per game, and they only give up about a touchdown with 4 shutouts. So this is by far the best team that they'll face. I think even if they make it to the state championship, it still might not be this tough. We'll get to the last one here in the 4A East. New Hanover continues its memorable year, advances to the Eastern Final. Number 5 seed, they'll be at number 2 Harnett Central, but that game has been moved. Very important. Saturday at 1:30 at Campbell University in Bowie's Creek. So if you were planning on going Friday, it won't be there. Big game for the Wildcats. Every game bigger than the next. What's it going to take for them this week?
I think it's the same thing Tim said last week. No penalties and good defense. I mean, those are when New Hanover does those 2 things, they win. When they start making the little goofy penalties that drive Kevin Monsinger absolutely crazy, that's when they tend to teeter on the brink and fall over. They keep their discipline, they can win this game. That's really all there is to it. There's no other way to explain it. They're going to run the ball with Tevin Mishu, and they're going to make you try and throw the ball to beat them. If they keep the penalties out of the way, they can win the game.
That's right. And Harnett Central, 14-0. This is a good team. I was voting them in the poll toward the end of the season. First team that beat Hoggard after its state championship 2 seasons ago, back 2008 season, has beaten Southeast Raleigh twice. Yes. And Southeast Raleigh is a good team. Southeast Raleigh beat New Hanover. But some of their wins aren't against as quality opponents as the Richmond counties, the North Sides, the teams that New Hanover has faced. And you mentioned defense. That is the key. This team will go as far as that defense will take them. One area of concern, Everett Israel, sacks leader on the team, did suffer a high ankle sprain against Southern Durham. He's questionable. He was walking around without crutches, but high ankle sprains are touchy. You don't ever want to force a kid back, but winnable.
Absolutely.
Could keep it going, but
why not? Why not?
You're staying on the bandwagon, right?
I am on the bandwagon. I think this is going to be a really close game. I
Yeah.
don't care what people say. If all those predictor sites and everything say they're going to get beat by 15, 17 points. I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Well, we will find out. One other game of note in the Big 1A, Southwest Onslow continues its run at home against number 2 Goldsboro. Should be a big game. Stallions looking to stay undefeated, and I can certainly see them winning that one.
After seeing what Trask and Goldsboro did last week and seeing what Southwest Onslow did to Pender last week, I think you people up at Southwest Onslow better be making tickets for next Saturday at the state championship.
That's right. Be sure to check back on Saturday morning. Aaron will have highlights from the 2 Friday night games, East Bladen and Wallace Rose Hill. I will be in Bowie's Creek on Saturday for the New Hanover game, so I will update the show on Saturday night with highlights from that one. So certainly plenty of coverage this weekend. Yes. But for this week, for Dan Spears and myself, Rachel George, this has been Friday Night Varsity Preview on StarNewsOnline.com.